Shalom, and welcome to What the Watchman Sees, a ministry that will sift through all of the social media noise to show you news of importance from the Most High's perspective. As watchmen, we are here both to warn of dangers and give biblical answers for dwelling in the secret place of the Most High during these times of confusion. Tell your family and friends to like, share, and subscribe as we delve into what Yahweh has for us, the apple of His eye. Let's get to work. Shalom, we're going to continue with our study/meditation. And as we begin, we always begin with 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15, which says, "Study to show yourselves approved unto the Most High, workmen who need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." And in 2 Timothy chapter 3:16, all scripture is God-breathed and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the person of the Most High may be complete, thoroughly furnished unto every good work. As we have been doing all year long, we're underneath the blueprint of build a righteous nation using the Most High's blueprint. So we're going to continue as we begin to wrap up this calendar year in terms of the topics that the Most High wanted us to discuss and to cover. What we're going to do is talk specifically about where the Most High's people see themselves and what we should be doing at this particular point in time. So we'll go ahead. This particular study is a chance for us to recalibrate, refocus as we move toward the end of this calendar year, and remind ourselves that what we are doing is getting ourselves and our families and our people ready for whatever the Most High has next on his agenda for his people. So this is sort of a review of, well, actually it's a review of the very beginning of the calendar year and what the Most High has given. During the course of the study, he's given additional clarification, and all of it has to do with rebuilding the blessing that he has for us as his people. So he gives occasionally clarity in the form of sayings. So we're just going to look at the sayings that he has given to us during this particular year. The first is, as we went into the year, the instruction was to find your tribe. Well, in order for us to be where we're supposed to be at this particular point in time, some of the things we need to go back and pick up that we have left behind. And one of those concepts is the Most High deals with his nation, but his nation is divided into tribes, or his nation not even is divided. His nation is composed of tribes. So when the scriptures talk about find your tribe, one of the things that we looked at, or one of the aspects of finding your tribe that we examined, was the children of Yasharel, the 12 tribes of Israel, what their purpose was and what their destiny was to be. That was found at the end of Genesis, when Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel or Yasharel, he brought his sons to him right before he was going to die, and he laid out for them their trajectory, not only for them as individuals, but more importantly for their families. And once the children of Yasharel had been in the land for a while and had been in disobedience and in rebellion to what the Most High's purpose for them was, they lost many things, and one of them was the identification of their tribes. So as we look at our current condition, most of the people of Yasharel don't even know who we are, let alone which tribe we come from. So one of the things that he was emphasizing and continues to emphasize is that we need to find our tribe. Now, there's a reason for that. When the Most High scattered his people because of disobedience, the notion of tribe went into captivity, just as all of the other attributes of a nation. So he is now at the point of bringing his nation back together again. So part and parcel of that began with the awakening. The awakening of the Most High's people is based on Ezekiel chapter 37, where the dry bones are spoken to, prophesied to, and the bones begin to come together. So the part of the coming together of the bones, when the bones do come together and flesh comes on them, each part of the body then comes back together again. So a tribe is actually a part of the body or the nation of Yasharel. And that's why if and when we understand the importance of being a nation as the Most High gave us to be, if he created us to be the foot, we don't want to act like the heart. So that's the idea. And the various tribes then, the 12 tribes, represent 12 facets of the organism called Yasharel. So once we begin to awaken as individuals and then are given our assignment there, part of the assignment is find the people who you have been put with in antiquity, because the attributes that were found in your ancestors are still in you. So it helps you to know who you are. So that's the idea of find your tribe. So in Exodus chapter 4, verse 29, that was an example when Moses was awakened to who he is and his purpose. The next thing that he did, and obviously his purpose was to lead the children of Israel out of bondage. Okay. But in order for him to do that, the children of Israel had to see themselves as a cohesive group. So in Exodus chapter 4, verse 29, he goes to the leaders of the tribes, because at that point, the tribes were still intact. As a matter of fact, they hadn't become a nation yet. They were just family members. Okay. So Reuben's tribe, Gad's tribe, Simeon's tribe, Levi's tribe, all those 12 tribes had people in those tribes who were the elders of the tribes. And in the culture of the people in that area, the elders were those who looked out for the rest of the tribe and who spoke for the rest of the tribe. So it was those people that Moses went to. The other thing that we talked about is an overarching principle of the Most High working with his people. He always works through leaders. When he heard the cries of the children of Yasharel who were in bondage and under oppression by the Pharaoh and his leadership, Moses was taken to be that person that was going to do that. But then Moses was told, now go tell the other leaders in the family that the Most High has heard their cries and he's going to deliver them. So each one of those tribes had already been given the understanding from their ancestor as to what their trajectory was to be as a tribe, but now they're seeing their trajectory as a tribe within a nation. So finding your tribe is important because that's what gives you your marching order, if you will, your spiritual marching order. Okay. Because each tribe has a divine purpose. All right. So we find the tribe, we teach the tribe based on what the scriptures have given us, or what the Most High has given us, as to what the Most High wants out of the tribe. And then we begin to build that tribe up based on what the scriptures teach as to the destiny of that tribe. So that's where you teach the youngsters in the tribe. You build with those who are who have the same affinity as you. You do business with each other, and equally as important, you protect that tribe. So that's why it's important to find the tribe. Once the tribes begin to re-establish themselves, it will be that re-established people group that joins and is joined in this national identity. The thing about the national identity is that that also comes from the Most High. And at this point in time, as Moses said, there was going to come another one like him who would lead the people. Well, that one has already come. That's who Yeshua is. Okay. So we already have a leader. We already have a Moses. What we don't have are followers. So finding your tribe will help the nation to come together as a nation of followers of the Messiah. And that's how we develop our national identity. Part of the national identity was given to the Most High's people in the form of feast days, because the feast days were all given to Yasharel to remind Yasharel of the myriad of ways that the Most High has been protecting them, working with them, giving them what they needed. So each one of the feast days helps to bring about that national identity. So they understood that what the Most High did helped them as individuals, it helped them as family groups, it helped them as people groups, and it also helped them as a nation. Okay. So the other thing, because we're scattered, don't know who we are, we have taken our identity from those places that we are scattered. And those places that we are scattered have divided up the world in ways that the Most High never did. One of the ways that the world is divided up is by skin color. So those who are in charge, especially over in this land, took all the people who were dark skinned and said, you're all one people. That was never the case. And because the Most High's people are dark skinned historically, and some of us ended up on these shores, some of us ended up in South America, some of us ended up in the what's called the West Indies, some of us ended up in India, and some of us were remained on the continent. But we were also scattered among other dark-skinned people. So we're under the impression that anybody with dark skin is our kinfolk. That's not true. And because that is a reality, we are continually frustrated when we think that all of the dark-skinned people are supposed to be alike or think alike, or want to have the same thing. That is not the case. That's why it's so important for us to find our tribe, because at this point in time, we, the Most High's people, must deal with other people who are the Most High's people. We can't help anybody until we help ourselves. All right. So that's not to say that we want to be exclusive. It's saying that the enemy, those of our oppressors who lumped all these people together, did it for their advantage, but it's never been to our advantage. And that's why we need to have another marker for how to identify our people. And it's not skin color. It's covenant related. So we are the people of the covenant. If other people who are dark skinned are people of the covenant, that's our tribe. If other people who are dark skinned are not people of the covenant, that's not our tribe. It's not that we don't want to have anything to do with them, but we also understand at this point in time, there's not a lot we can do together because we're coming from different perspectives. So finding your tribe is really important. Now, which is why Yeshua said, in essence, he said, he who is a Jew is not one who is a Jew outwardly. He is a Jew inwardly, whose circumcision is not an outward circumcision, but his circumcision is that of the heart. We are Jews, or the Yahudim, based on our heart condition with the Most High. And how does that happen? The heart condition comes about through our obeying the Shema. Hear, O Yasharel, Yahuwah, your creator, is one, and you must love your creator with all your heart, soul, mind, and might. So people who embrace that, people who believe that, are a part of our tribe. Okay. Now, in many cases, that's going to be bloodline, but in these last days, it also includes those who want to be a part of that covenant. All right. So that's why it's so important to find our tribe, because we have to protect one another right now. We're under attack, and we're being picked off one by one because we don't see ourselves as part of a whole. Once we see ourselves as part of a whole, the whole will take care of its people. So that's important. That's the first one. Find your tribe. That's what the Most High has given us. One of the other things that he told us as we move into finding our tribe is that people must declare who they are. And the biblical verse chapter for that is Numbers chapter 16. It's the whole chapter. In essence, Numbers chapter 16 was the incident of the children of Yasharel in the desert after they had left Egypt and they were on their way to the promised land. For those of us who are who study the scriptures, we know that as soon as the waters covered up the Egyptians and the people of Yasharel started moving to where the Most High wanted them, they started complaining and they started wishing that they were back in Egypt. So this continued, and once we get to Numbers chapter 16, it had gotten to the point where, if you remember, I said the Most High deals with his people through leaders. Well, the tribe that was to be the primary leader of Yasharel was Levi, the tribe of Levi. That was the tribe that Moses came through. That was the tribe that Aaron and the priesthood happened. And the rest of the tribe were those who were to support the goings on of the tabernacle and the priesthood, which was the heart and soul of the nation. Well, when they got out into the desert, some of the people from that tribe who were not Aaron's immediate family, decided, and certainly were not Moses' immediate family either, because Moses and Aaron were brothers. They decided the Most High talks to all of us, because they had already heard that the Most High wanted Israel to be a nation of priests. So they said, well, since that's what the Most High wants, why should we listen to you? And that's what Numbers chapter 16 is all about. What's that got to do with people must declare? Those people declared that they were operating against the will of the Most High. The Most High had already identified Moses. He'd already identified Aaron. If you remember Aaron's rod budding in relationship to all the rods of the other heads of families, because his budding rod meant that he was to be of the priestly line. Okay. It was his family that was going to do the work of the priest. There were other Levites, because Levi was their progenitor, but only Aaron was given that job. All right. So there were other people, one of them whose name was Dathan, who was actually not even a Levite. He came from the tribe of Reuben. Well, they had to declare, this is where I'm going with all of this. They had to declare, we are not going to follow Moses. Now, this is all happening in the middle of the desert. All right. So Moses then tells the people who were watching all of this, all right, you all need to get away from them. Now, what's going to happen is, if the Most High gave me the instructions, then I'm going to remain alive. If he gave you the instructions, then the people don't have to listen to me, and they can just do whatever you said. The way that they will be able to tell is, I'm saying that you're getting ready to die because of your posture and position toward me. And I'm not going to do anything. But anybody who wants to be on my side, come away from them. Okay. So those people had to declare who they were going to support. Moses and the blessing that the Most High had put on Moses and his family, or Dathan, and there was another one from the tribe of Levi. I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but all of this is recorded in Numbers chapter 16. Okay, so, or those people. All right. So what ended up happening is, once everybody moved away from Dathan, his family, which included the women and the children, let's not leave that part out. Anybody that was affiliated with him, the earth swallowed them up, and they were no more. So they declared who they were. The people who chose to be with Moses declared who they were. We are living in a time when people must declare who they are. If you're working for Satan, you're going to have to say that. If you're working for the Most High, you're going to have to say that. There is no more middle ground. There is no, I'm neutral. There is no neutrality. When that incident happened, people had to make a choice. And this is the message that the Most High is giving us as his people today. You're going to have to choose. You're going to have to declare who you are. So if you belong to me, now's the time to say it, and now's the time to act like you belong to me. If you don't belong to me, you're going to say that too. And everybody's going to know the difference. All this is happening in real time, folks. It's going on as we speak. Okay, so that's happened. Now, for those who have declared that I'm on the Lord's side, notice I didn't say the Lord is on my side. Those who declare I'm on the Most High's side, he has very specific instructions to come out of Babylon. And so that's the third point that he wants his people to hear and understand. And so we went through a study about Babylon. What we found out is that Babylon is a city, or was a city. Babylon was a state in the land of Shinar. Babylon became a nation, but in the last days, Babylon is a principality. And Revelation chapter 17 helps us to see that. Okay. But there are also scriptures in Genesis that talk about Babylon, the Tower of Babel. Okay. That talk about Babylon starting out as a city. And that's where that tower was built. Okay. The state area was called Shinar. And then Babylon, we know, under Nebuchadnezzar, became a nation state. And finally, Babylon in these last days, which is called Mystery Babylon. And if you remember, there was a woman sitting on a scarlet beast. That woman's had a name on her forehead, and the name was Mystery Babylon. The thing is, Babylon is no longer a mystery. We understand that principality now. That's a demonic entity, and it's depicted as a woman. So that entity goes all the way back to when Babylon was a city, state, and a nation. So what we're being told is to come out of that principality. Now, Babylon, the way that the scriptures in Revelation 17 and also Revelation 18 describe it, it can also be seen as the place that we find ourselves in geographically now, the system that we're living under now. There are great similarities, but but what we need to understand is this is not the only Babylon. Babylon is much bigger, because it's Babylon that is producing this environment of oppression and war and destruction. All of that is coming out of Babylon. That's why it says she was drunk with the blood of the saints. The saints are holy ones. Who are the holy ones? The people of the Most High. Where are the people of the Most High? We're scattered throughout the entire planet. So when you dig deep enough, what you're going to see is wherever these wars and rumors of wars are, somewhere, and usually it's becoming more and more clear as time goes on, you're going to find the Most High's people under oppression. So wherever you see people that are oppressed, most likely the Most High's people are among those people. And those who are oppressing them are a part of the woman called Mystery Babylon. And that's why once the Most High's people know who we are, once we declare who we are, then our next move is to come out, first of all, in our minds and in our hearts from Babylon. And the reason why we need to come out is we're preparing to leave our current state and move to where the Most High is going to be using us, because the next phase that is coming will be a phase where Yeshua is ruling and reigning, and we rule and reign with Yeshua on the earth. So it's called the second Exodus. Well, what are we exiting? We're exiting Babylon, and that's why it has to be done in the mind first. Okay. So the second Exodus, we don't necessarily need to use that terminology, but the examples can be found in Luke 21, verses 20 through 24, Deuteronomy chapter 30, verses 1 through 8, Ezekiel chapter 20, Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 17, Jeremiah chapter 30, Isaiah 14. And the one that is most relevant is in Isaiah chapter 60, verses 1 through 9. Okay. So I would encourage you to look at those scriptures in light of the idea of a second Exodus of the Most High's people. And then once we are in our preparation, once we see that this is the Most High's doing, then we also realize that this is intergenerational. And our job, regardless of how old or young we are right now, is to prepare to have this information passed on to those who are coming after us. So that's the blessing that the Most High wanted for his people to grasp during this entire year. So he's been teaching these things throughout this entire year. Find your tribe. People have to declare who they are. It's time to come out of Babylon because it's fallen. And in coming out of Babylon, as we prepare to leave, know that all of these things that are happening are going to be happening for the good to those who love the Most High and who are the called according to his purpose. Father, bless you and keep you. Father, make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. Father, lift up his countenance upon you and give you his shalom.